All right, so we're recording. All right, so Jay, should we just jump in, or do you want to just start with questions, or?
Oh my gosh. Well, I was actually just sitting here thinking about, all the things that I feel like I could go off in 80 different directions with you.
Yeah,
And so I kind of wanted to see who showed up. I wanted to see who was in the room because we've got, as you know, as you do, we've got a really broad spectrum of folks. And everyone's at a little bit of a different point. Some people are really, really experienced and know a lot about crypto. And then some people are just entering the space. Some people just want to get in on a personal level and grow their crypto. And other people want to really, run. They want to fly. They want to explode. They understand the timing and they're looking to build teams and to really leverage that. And other people are here because I've been raving about your ability to attraction market and bring bees to honey. And it's blowing my mind at the moment. And my YouTube channel is, I wouldn't say exploding, but compared to what it was doing before, it kind of is. It's all relative. And I'm getting a lot of traction. I'm getting a lot of people messaging me privately. And to be able to be as busy as I am, I'm a mom of 3 kids, and we have Thrive Tribes, our movement, and multiple businesses. And I'm shocked at, I'm not going to say it's easy, but it kind of is. So I think that we've got a lot we can work with here. And I know you've got a lot of multiple platforms that you're working with as well from a diversification standpoint that include decentralization, that include amplification and generation of coins. And I also kind of want to talk a little bit about Burex at some point, and just because some of the people on the call, this is a little new what's happening, and I want them to understand how we're pivoting, and actually what a gift Burex has been. And that's how you and I reconnected, is because I got into a Burex support group. I was like, I know this guy.
right on. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't even know that. Yeah, because we've met before, right? We've connected before, and I didn't know that's you found that. That's cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's just get rolling, and I think we keep it really open. We've got a really dynamic tribe of people, really awesome crew. And I really want to put it out to the community because I'm bringing you to them because I like you. I like what you're doing. I like your no BS style. I'm really finding a lot of value right now in a very noisy space,
Right.
to be guided in, you've got your lane and you're really clear. You're not a crypto expert, although in a world of a lot of shenanigans, as you call them, I feel that you bring a lot of honesty to the space, and I appreciate that. And you're not afraid to just call a spade and not be afraid to play the games that you call gambling, but just know that that's what you're doing. But also there's other alternatives. And so I want to just position everybody on the call to know that Mike's lane is really in, I know him from the online school of business, but he's a marketing genius, online marketing genius. I know that's a bold title to give you, Mike, but I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there because what I've seen you do in a very short period of time for me shows me that I can do this across all platforms. So literally anyone on this call can take any platform that they're in and leverage what Mike is doing to grow that platform or their business. It really could apply to anything. And Mike, you've been super generous. So I just want to start out the call by also saying and acknowledging you for the amount of generosity. I feel like I've already been given, tens of thousands of dollars of value in marketing online for free. So I really want to give you props for that and thank you. And I'd really love to extend that to the rest of my peeps because now's the time. So I see you're pulling up a whole bunch of cool stuff, which is good. So I'm just going to hand it over to you and just let you do what you do. And then when you guys have questions, raise your hand, pop it up in the chat. It's a really casual call. And we just want to make sure we cover some good ground. And I know Mike's going to come back and talk to us again. So if we don't cover it all, we don't want this call to go on forever. So if we don't catch it today, we're going to catch it the next time. Grab a pen and paper as well and take notes, because what he's going to give you guys in a short period of time are some amazing golden nuggets that I guarantee for most of you are probably very, very new. So enjoy the call. Mike, over to you, my friend.
Jay, you are such an outstanding communicator. It's like, it's so
Thank you.
pleasant to listen. It's just like fun to listen to her. It's just like everything just flows.
Yeah.
I wish I could talk like that. I would be a billionaire by now. I have all the thoughts as eloquently as you have coming out. So yeah, I don't have a presentation or anything, but I just pulled up really quick after I hopped out of the shower. I pulled up some pages so I could remember to just kind of address everything that's going on. and a lot is going on, right? I think everyone's feeling it. I'm not the only one, am I? It's like, it's just crazy right now, right? It's just anyone in the opportunity niche space, I'm sure in the investment world, I'm sure even in traditional investment world, and certainly in the crypto world, it's just absolutely nuts right now. It's, yeah, and I think that's what happens when people start seeing assets 10x, 100x, sometimes 1000x. And so it's a special moment to seize opportunity. And what I'm going to show you is just how I've taken like years and years of experience with attraction marketing, we can call it, that I've applied into businesses that I created. I've applied into network marketing stuff that I've done. And I'm just grabbing it and throwing it all together as fast as I can to seize what we see happening. Because basically right now you can almost shake any tree and a bunch of money falls. It's like, it's just crazy. And I know not everybody here is as fast of a pace entrepreneur as I might be, where you're willing to shift and be fluid and not overthink. But it is a good time to stop thinking a lot and just start like moving with where the action is. And I've been trying to create a funnel that allows us to do that. But in the meantime, because it's not about being perfect, it's not about being rigid, but it's about following simple systems and processes. I think I'll start off by just kind of addressing, you mentioned Forsage. I'm going to start there because all I can do is share with you what I'm doing. And then you can decide to either change that if you want to, but know what was working for me as the starting point. Or for some of you, just literally follow what I'm doing because you don't want to have to reinvent any pieces of it. So this is the starting point for me because it's income. It's not investing. It's not high risk stuff, which anybody that was in Burex, I mean, when you're running a track and then the rug gets pulled out from underneath you, you do lose a lot. And a lot of these, I pulled this up. The new one is B&B Stake, which I'm sure is going to be pulled out from underneath people pretty quick, faster than Burex was. People are drawn, I threw some money in it. It's gambling. And Jay mentioned, I call it out for what it is. This is gambling. And I used to go to the casino. And I think one time I lost 30 grand. I said, okay, I should be losing 30 grand in my businesses. And that was the end of it. But, it's gambling. You stay in long enough, you're going to walk out with nothing. It's just the way it is. And Burex was the same way. And you'll see more of these pop up. And it's very tempting because you start seeing all this money coming in, like, for example, if you put, it's just ridiculous. Let's go to this one. If you put 10 BNB in it, which is like $2,500 or so, you get 36 BNB back in 28 days, which is, what's the return on that? It's 364%. And then you come down here, look at this. See, this is how they're planning to take off of people's money pretty quick, almost 3,000% in 20 days. So that this is getting set up to take people's money. Now, why do these exist so much? Because people don't want to think about legitimate ones like this, which is investing, or like this, which is investing. It's like you can already feel the difference. It's like now you have to think, this is way more like those machines you see in the smoky back room at the bar, right? Like you just want to just put a quarter in it and pull the thing, and Forsage is also designed a little bit that way, but there's work involved. So that's what's happening. Is like some people they don't want to work. They don't want to think. And so naturally, they're going to gravitate towards the slot machines, and they're going to end up sometimes making money. But if they're in early enough, that's the way that slot machine works. But if you stay in long enough, you'll lose all your money. And of course, there's going to be a mass market of people doing that till they get burned so much they don't work anymore. It almost seems like every bull market, you see this surge of these things. I'm not saying people shouldn't do them if they understand they're gambling. And I threw some money in there. Who knows if I'll win or lose. But I always tell people when I create content on those things what it is. And I'm going to circle back around to that because it comes to the attraction marketing, creating content, which I create for people that they can post to their YouTube channel. That, Jay mentioned she's already starting to see traction from that, because you're targeting specific groups that have a lot of, let's just call it emotion, wrapped up in the topic. Maybe they just, like, for example, when this collapses, there'll be a lot of emotion around it. And there'll be a lot of people buzzing around, searching for stuff, information. And then they're going to see me talking about what happened and offering to kind of guide them to a new way of engaging with opportunity. And if they saw some of my previous videos, which could have been on your channel, I don't say my name, I don't show anything that could lead them back to me. We can get them into support groups, chat groups. That's how Jay found me, was when BRX collapsed or was in the process of collapsing, as did many, many other people. These are the best prospects out there. And we can create all kinds of content on projects like this, on legitimate projects as well, not the fish fry. But there's legitimate projects out there that also have a lot of excitement and buzz around them. And I'm creating content on this for you guys. You post that to YouTube. And let me turn this off. You post that to YouTube. They don't know how to find me because my name's not in there or anything. Now, if you put yourself at the front of the video, it's even better. If you put some of your own videos in between my videos, it's even better. But we have people just literally loading my videos up and getting people reaching out to them and wanting to sign up. And they could sign up into Forsage because I drip kind of this. When I'm talking in the videos, I drip that, hey, we got this ETH generator that's income, that's not risk-based. Reach out to us below. There's a link below this video if you want to find out what we're doing. Made 800 ETH in 30 days or 90 days. Teams made 12,000 ETH in 90 days. We're following a simple duplicatable system. Reach out at the link below. I mean, you can see how that's effective. So I might be talking about this saying, hey, BNB just launched. Some influencers out there are pushing it. Be careful, it's gambling. I'm not judging you. I'm going to throw some money in it. But, if you want a real way to make ETH, reach out to us because we can show you what we're doing. You know what I mean? Like I plant that in there and then you put your link, like a Facebook Messenger link or something underneath the video. And then they reach out to you. And then you can lead them wherever you want to, guys. You don't have to bring them into Forsage if you don't want to. You could have whatever conversation you want with them. These are the best prospects in the world and they're coming to you. You can leverage a lot of my value though. Like for example, when this collapses, I'll set up a chat. It's kind of like, it's almost like Alcoholics Anonymous, right? Like, like you need help. Let's gather around here and talk about it. It's really saying, hey guys, let's show you how to market properly. Let's show you how to make a lot of ETH and not lose it. And they come into that chat group. You can invite in the videos I'm mentioning. I'm saying in the link below. Reach out to us if you want to join our chat group. Learn how we're doing attraction marketing. Learn how we're attracting really high quality prospects. Learn how we assess programs so you don't lose ETH or crypto, but you make it. So I'm planting these little signals all throughout the different videos that I'm making. So they're reaching out to you and you could put them into my chat groups. Again, I don't put my affiliate links or anything in those chat groups. They're like master chat groups. I set it up so that they know to reach out to you when they want to sign up into anything. So you can leverage my value for that kind of stuff. Let's come back to this though. That's the marketing and you can leverage all the stuff that I'm doing to attract prospects to you, right? But let's come back to this because this is at the base of what I'm doing to generate Ethereum. I know a lot of people out there have struggled with it because it's recruiting based, it's sales based, but that's actually the advantage. Because what I tell people is, and by the way, I also have audio messages that you could literally just forward, or your team, they're not strong communicators like Jay. They can just forward my audio messages to the prospects that are reaching out to you saying, hey, I wanted to find out how the guy in the video was talking about how he made 800 ETH in 90 days. He had a system. And you could just say, yeah, that's Mike. I work with him closely. Let me forward you an audio message. He can kind of share it with you. Then they hear a familiar voice, the same one they heard in the video. We have audio messages to walk them through everything. I even have audio messages to answer the most common questions, like, do I have to recruit people? All the questions that come up. So the message in my presentations, the message in my audios about Forsage is that this is an income, not an investment, not a risk. And that we've found it very advantageous to be able to generate Ethereum with a duplicatable process that anybody can plug into and do, and then that's not risk-based, so that it's consistent and stable, that is designed in such a way that nobody can change the compensation plan, nobody can pull the rug out from underneath you, nobody can run off with your crypto. It's stable. And so you can consistently earn that Ethereum. And then of course, some people are living off part of that. Some people are taking some of that Ethereum and putting it aside for when it continues to go up. And most important to me, we get to take part of this Ethereum, I share with everybody, we get to take part of this Ethereum and invest it into altcoins and other exciting projects. You might even throw some into the gambling pile if you want to, and then you don't have to cry when you lose it because you're still making it. It's not a big deal. As opposed to how many people are literally counting on their income in programs like this. You know, it's a recipe for a disaster for most. Some who get in early might make enough that they can walk away, but very seldomly. It's like the casino. So this is the income, and then we use part of that to invest into investments. And there are a lot of exciting investments out there. One of them that we just got into, I like the DeFi stuff, decentralized stuff. Decentralized, so, you know, BRX, for example, centralized, you had to request your money. There's a lot of those where you have to request to get access to your funds. Decentralized, you're engaging with a smart contract, and no individuals can ever do any shenanigans, as we say. You can always get what you request. It runs the way it's supposed to run. Nobody can change it. That's the decentralized new model. And so we look for decentralized projects, or we just look for investment projects that are exciting. But I'm trying to find decentralized ones, or ones that are engaging with smart contracts, where there's less of having to rely on people for it to do what it's supposed to do. This one here is, it's called Peak DeFi, and they're creating, it's basically decentralized hedge funds where they have a lot of things going on in the DeFi space. And they've been established for a long time. So it's a low risk type of investment where you can stake and you get yields that are, you know, constantly paying to you. In fact, every second you see it increase, paying you in peak token, which you can withdraw whenever you want to with the smart contract. You don't request it to people. It just has to give it to you when you request it. And it works the way it's supposed to work. It runs the way it's supposed to run, and people can't mess with that because it's decentralized. I really like those kinds of projects that are paying yields. Now, this one doesn't pay as high of a yield as BRX or those kinds of programs, but my point to everybody is, are you really making more money if it keeps running off with your money? Like, it might look like high returns for a while, but are you really making more money when you hurt your credibility, or people get upset, or people lose hope, and you lose your team momentum, and all this stuff that happens with those programs? You're not really making more money when you look at over a 3-year span. So even though the yields look smaller with something like this that I'm getting every day, it's going to be here tomorrow, the next day, next year, the next year. It's every minute, every second of every day, every week, every month, and going forward for years, it keeps paying. So it actually is paying much, much more, and it's just working in the background. And what's really cool about this one is it pays 8 levels. It's a historic event. Never in history before was there a legitimate cryptocurrency. This is going to be, it's been listed on a lot of smaller exchanges for a year. And if you look at the technical charts, it looks outstanding. It's been going up, but even before the bull market hit. But it's a historic event that this is going to be listed on a major exchange, OKEX, I think it's pronounced. It's an Asian exchange, but it's a very large exchange. People in the US don't use it as much, but it is a very large exchange. And it's a first that you have a legitimate cryptocurrency that doesn't just have an idea, but has actually implemented their idea for over 2 years, been in the market, on the exchanges, on the smaller exchanges, on CoinMarketCap, and you can trade on the smaller exchanges for over a year. And then now they're getting on a large exchange, and they have an 8-level affiliate payment program, commission program. It's never been before. And it's possible because it's decentralized. Because the decentralized stuff is outside the SEC and all of this stuff. So all those fears and concerns start to just vanish. Now, there's a lot of, the SEC right now is suing Ripple. So who knows where it's all going to end, but the way things are going, I mean, it's basically the US is having a really hard time making making the play for like totally just annihilating all freedom and all market freedom. I mean, that's what they would be doing. They'd just be like, basically they'd have to kill America to do what they're trying to do. And they're afraid to do it. They're afraid to admit that they don't have a free market economy anymore. And they're afraid to just squash all this innovation and development that's happening in the DeFi space. They just can't really do it. So it looks like DeFi is winning, and it's just absolutely taking off. And that's why there's so much opportunity. And everyone can feel it and everyone can see it. And it's pushing all of the cryptocurrency up, even Bitcoin, even though Bitcoin isn't in the DeFi space, it's driving all of this. Ethereum really is driving all of this. And so, and all of the DeFi coins. But anyway, so this is a project that is really, really cool, because now when you have a legitimate cryptocurrency that's built tremendous value, that's on the exchanges, going on a major exchange that has an 8-level payment plan, referral payment plan, that gives the network marketing industry, affiliate marketers, more power than they've ever had as an industry ever. And it's happening right now for the very first time in this project. It's huge. What's it mean? It means, I don't know if you guys knew USI Tech and all of these centralized shenanigan organizations that ran off with people's crypto that had these great compensation structures. You could never have time to develop those and get a sustained income for a long time, because they would always run off with people's cryptocurrency. That can't happen here. This is a legitimate program. So to have the time to develop that network and, and to get those commissions with a cryptocurrency that in all likelihood is going to 10x, 100x over the years, it's mind-boggling what that can turn into. Again, we don't know exactly what's going to happen in the DeFi. We don't know what's going to happen in crypto 100%, but the momentum and everything is moving towards decentralization. And it doesn't look like any regulatory body can do anything about it, because it would mean stifling innovation to such a great degree. Everybody would have to admit it's like communism. It's just, there's no way they can go there. They can't fight for that. So it's pretty easy to see where this is all going, unless things get really weird. So these are the projects that I'm excited about. Projects that are in DeFi, decentralization, that are legitimate, that pay yields and have a referral component. These are firsts with legitimate programs. And so that's one of them. And then, and here's one of my, let me see if this is working right now. No, that's not gonna work.
Mike, are you able to expand your screen?
It's fully expanded.
Well,
is everybody seeing like a small window?
We can see your the base.
No, I see the whole thing.
Oh,
I see the whole thing, Jimmy.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I see the whole thing.
Well, then it must be on my end.
Yeah, you might just have to hit
I see the whole thing too.
Hit the corner there of your window, maybe to expand it.
I'll figure it out. No worries. Yeah, I mean, you're bringing up the CBDCs. I've had a lot of people in my community, because we have a couple of different tribes, one of them Truth Tribe. It's not saying that what's going on in that tribe is the truth. It's saying it's the exploration of truth, what's really going on. And finance is a particularly hot topic, because what we say is FTM, follow the money. And, if you want to see corruption, a lot of the time you follow the money. So for us, it's really fascinating what's happening in this space, because you're arming people all over the world in these peer-to-peer, encrypted abilities to exchange, whether that's currency or whatever it is, whatever that currency represents. It's fascinating, the blockchain space. And so we're really focusing on education right now, giving people a lot of education so they understand the power of the difference between CBDCs, like the centralized banking digital currencies that the governments and countries are coming out with, or Facebook, or all of these institutions that will be quite the opposite of what I see cryptocurrency representing. And then you've got these DeFi projects where you can have the ability to put a little bit of grease in there and see a long-term benefit for you and your family and your people and your tribe, as I like to call it. And that, I think, for people right now to even, on the one hand, just get in and look at it as an opportunity to be able to generate, which is what you've been doing with Forsage very, very well. To give you guys an idea, if you're new to Mike did 800 Ethereum. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's about right. 800 Ethereum in 3 months with Forsage, and 12,000 for his team. So he's been able to, create some incredible results with Forsage. Obviously, I think that we could do the disclaimer that those are not normal results, probably, but what I want you guys to understand is that Mike knows how to create those type of results with whatever type of program that we want to get into. I just want to talk a little bit about Ethereum, Mike, because you're really hot on Ethereum right now. You want to amplify and generate as much Ethereum as you can. And I want to kind of just talk a little bit about why Ethereum is such a good gig right now for the next 90 days, in your opinion.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm not like real technically minded, so my answers always sound overly simplistic, and yet intuitively, I've been pretty dead on for a long time. So I just kind of share it how I see it, and it will sound simple. Gas fees are really high. What does that mean? It means people are using Ethereum, and it's funny. I hear people complain about that. I'm like, hello, it's like the bell is ringing. Like it's like you can't deny anymore that this is happening. Right? That's what that means to me. And it's last call. And because we know in July, well, they say July, the people who are technically minded are saying in July, we're going to see transaction speeds with Ethereum speed up by hundreds of times or over 100 times in July. And that's going to continue until it's in the thousands of times faster than it is now. And in July, that will mean gas fees will decrease by 100 times or more. So that's why everything's going up. Because it's getting, as that happens, guys, it gets closer and closer to applications, all kinds of things being built over the Ethereum blockchain. And that means that decentralization starts to take hold. And now that I think of it, that's probably why they're not able to stop this, because they can't call Ethereum a security. It was never marketed as a security. If it was, the SEC would be so excited, because they could stop all this, but they can't, because Ethereum's pushing this whole thing, because it's not a security. It was never marketed as a security. It was just an innovation that the world just started to use. So they can't stop it. And so everything's going to be rebuilt, without centralization, without people really having to be involved with processing stuff like PayPal or like Kickstarter. Like, it will just work. And so it's a complete revolution beyond even just the internet. And Ethereum is pushing it. Ethereum is leading it. Now, many other DeFi or decentralized like coins and tokens are getting in the mix. BNB is one of them. BNB right now, transaction speeds are really, really fast. And so it's really, really cheap to use smart contracts and use applications that were built on the Binance Smart Chain. But Ethereum has way more developers. They already had the head start years ahead. And so that's where they're winning. And that's really the bigger play. If over time they can't get their transaction speeds up, if they can't get those costs down, then they will be overtaken by BNB or somebody else. But most people believe that that's inevitable, that they will. But yeah, so Ethereum right now is in the major lead with all of this. And so that's why you want Ethereum. And certainly short-term Ethereum is going to skyrocket in anticipation of those gas fees going way down. Because once the gas fees are low enough and the speeds are fast enough, you can develop all kinds of applications that consumers will use. Consumers aren't going to dink around with what we're willing to, right? So every time you get frustrated about having to pay more, to engage with something entrepreneurial that requires some gas, or every time you have to go into advanced settings and lower your gas or increase your gas limit and lower your gas price, just remember that's the only thing keeping an opportunity here for you. Because as soon as that barrier is gone, then the entire masses are going to move into using it, and the prices are going to go 100x. So I'm very grateful every time I get frustrated working with Ethereum. So I don't know if that describes it. Again, I have very simplistic ways of looking at it.
No, I love your simplicity. Excuse me. And it's so important to keep it simple. But like you said, I mean, most of us, we've been in the trenches for a while now, and we've been, we've got the war wounds. And I jokingly call it that I've been doing the combat Carla with Corey, the combat Carl. And you're going to take some hits if you're, willing to step up to the plate, right? You're going to miss some and you're going to win some. But I think what we keep doing is, as we move forward and understanding the market, and this is where I really love your strategy, your approach, is that you're looking at the market. And I don't know where I heard you say this, but you said something along these lines, and I paraphrase. Look, this stuff is popping up. There's a lot happening, and we have the opportunity to actually educate people because the risk tolerance right now is really, really high.
Yeah.
People are willing to take risks that, a year from now, maybe they won't be willing to take. So from a timing perspective, this is huge, but also, for people who genuinely love the space, who genuinely want to see us move towards a more decentralized way of living for the people, then this opportunity to be able to educate people to understand the difference between these casinos and these flash in the pan things that are popping up left, right, and center. I have people that message me all the time. Okay, I want to throw $5,000 in something, Jay. What do I throw it in?
Right.
And honestly, if I hadn't have been hit by Burex, because I have to admit, I was a bit lazy. I was like, this is fantastic. I've got.
Yeah, I got into Burex too. I lost about 80 grand or 40 grand in that one. But yeah, it's tempting, and you start to wonder, well, maybe I'm just going to miss something because I'm being overly protective, right? I'm being overly wary, and it's hard to sometimes assess that if you don't have these are the experience. Sometimes we need recent experience. Sometimes we forget the old experience, right? I kind of looked at it, I was like, I know what this is, and yet maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. It was fun. It was fun. It was the casino. And we definitely said to everyone, don't put in anything you're not willing to lose, and as soon as we regain our principal, our original deposit, we're going to pull it back out and play with house money. And that was always the plan. We just didn't get a chance to get to that point, unfortunately. And we'll see. I mean, either April Fool's is going to be, the joke's on us, or you never know. I think there's a lot of people still hopeful. I've kind of decided that we're pivoting and we're going to do it quickly. And we're going to keep moving forward because the timing is so, so powerful. But Burex, the gift that it gave me is the realization of how important it is to educate people coming into the space about the difference between good projects, decentralized, on a smart contract where you're getting deposits directly into your wallet, where, I hesitate to say risk-free, but, pretty darn close, where, you've got something that is, like you said, a real legit business that has the opportunity to go play the long game, that you can play the long game with over a period of time. And that is really attractive.
I love that you bring this up because we were just talking the other day about creating a riskometer that would actually show you where something falls that we're in on the risk factor. And so, for example, this peak thing would be almost no risk, but it's still an investment. So there's risk. You know what I mean? But it's the lowest risk that we can find. For Saj is no risk. And people might say, well, but you have to spend money to do it. It's like, yeah, you are purchasing access to the smart contract. And we can talk about what value you receive for doing that. A lot of it is education, like you're talking about, but there's no risk because you already know you're spending it. And you only buy it once and then you get paid over and over and over again. So it's not an investment-based project. It's a sales-based project, but we have a system that makes that work for people. But so that's no risk. But then for example, peak DeFi, it is risk because it is a token on the exchanges, which is going to fluctuate in value and price, but depending on what happens in the market. If regulators pass a law tomorrow announcing, which is, increased the chances of with a Biden administration, the Democratic Party is much more, has a closer relationship with what the banks want to do than anyone else. Again, but I've talked already about why I don't think it's possible for them to do this. But if they passed a law tomorrow saying you can't have private keys to your own wallet and you have to work with Coinbase and central exchanges, this is going to plummet. That's the risk, but what's the likelihood of that to happen? Seems pretty low right now. I don't think that can happen. But this is why there's some risk. But then you look at energy, and I made 50 grand last week in energy. Do I have anything showing energy? Energy, which is, by the way, I tried to just kind of have stuff up just so I could show you while I was talking about them. I don't think I have energy up, but energy is another decentralized project, but it's brand new. So the risk is higher because it's 3.5 weeks old, but also the returns can be higher because you're in with it early, so that's higher risk, but also they pay higher yields because it's early. So Yeah, this is the education you're talking about. It's extremely important. And it also is the kind of conversation that attracts really high quality people into your network, right? And I think, Jay, that's what it comes down to is if people aren't able to expand their network, they're not going to do very well in this business. And so that's really through education. We're not only educating people, we're also empowering those that want to make a lot of Ethereum and crypto and build their network. We're showing them how to expand their network by attracting really high quality people to them through that education.
The disservice that's done to, well, let's take Forsage for an example, is that usually the people that are in it aren't representing it properly, or they don't understand it properly.
Absolutely.
So then people think that they're making an investment or they're buying something, but they're not. They're actually, basically, I kind of see it like a Ethereum club. You buy your membership, you're not going to get your money back. That money's gone. It gives you the opportunity to get in and play the game. And if you don't play the game, or you don't go to the club, you're not going to meet someone at the tennis court, but if you want to play ball, there's a lot of balls to be had. That is a terrible, terrible example, but that's what came. But in 3 months for you to do 800 Ethereum is pretty mind blowing, Mike. So I definitely want to finish up this and then talk about, a little bit of the strategy about how you did that. So looking at, peak and looking at energy, there's basically the strategy you're talking about. Anyone can pick whatever they like, pick one, pick three, diversify. You can use the strategy that you're using for any of them. But we really, going back full circle to the education, is that we are just about to start offering Digital Business Masters course. It's a 6-week course that people can take that will allow them to know exactly how to keep their crypto safe, know what the blockchain is, really get brought into this world so that they're not kind of just picking projects just to make money, because we know that that's not really a good plan. That's not going to really work in the long run. Right. For this type of space, what I find is people really need to be invested in the why, or invested in the project, or know the people behind the project, or know the where the project's going, the utility of the coin. And the more they know about it, the more they can make really, really educated decisions, because crypto is a very, it's a very big cryptoverse. And I find people get in it and they get very overwhelmed very quickly, and they end up chasing opportunity. Right. And so this is one of the other things I really liked about you, is that your ability to position things simply without getting too caught up in the details. Because if there's anywhere to get caught up in the details and get lost in paralysis by analysis, it's in the cryptoverse. It can be a very overwhelming space. Like you said, most people kind of fall away from it because of it can be complicated. Yeah. So as things move towards simplicity, I find that on-ramping, that onboarding for people so much easier. And I have a real passion. I love to work with my fellow crypto geeks. Of course, it's really fun. But for most people who have full-time jobs and kids and life and whatever, they've got a lot going on, that on-ramping can be a really challenging process. And you really simplify it so that people can actually, if they want, they can invest or they can generate with very little effort, and they can leverage and create yield in a way that I've never seen before. So you creating 800 Ethereum and 12,000 for your team is suddenly doesn't seem so pie in the sky and nebulous and unattainable that all of a sudden, I'm sitting there going, okay, we could do that. We could do that. And that's a pretty amazing feeling, to feel like something is accessible, because it's so easy to look at a guy like you and go, well, Mike can do it, or, he's a ninja online, or, it's so easy for people to do that. But what I've seen you do is you're not giving people fish, you're teaching them how to fish. Mm-hmm. And that is really neat to be able to do that, and to be able to offer that to people across, the full spectrum of the opportunity niche that is exploding right now. So I don't know how much you feel like you can share right now. I know that you dish it out in your chat, and we can certainly invite people to your chat. But I want to just give them a little bit of an idea of how you've been able to achieve that.
It comes back to attraction marketing, right? Being able to attract really good people to you. So you're not messing around trying to convince and chase the wrong people, because Forsage isn't an investment. You don't just put your money in here and then go play and come back and you're rich. It's income that you generate from selling access to the smart contracts or the smart contract. But the cool thing is, once someone buys it, they can get paid on it over and over again by duplicating the same system. Now, I do want to say one more thing, since we know that this is consistent, that this is going to disappear, even if the site came down, we can keep using it because it's a smart contract. That gives us the confidence to keep investing into it. And so there's all kinds of things we can do with this long term to build more and more value into it. Right now, the value is, and I'm going to admit someone that just joined us. Right now, the value is when people engage with this, they learn. They learn by, like, as soon as I'm onboarding somebody, I'm explaining to them that, and you guys can just forward them my audio messages if you wanted to, but I'm explaining to them that we lower the gas price, and we can lower the gas price to save money on the transaction, because the gas price is bidding against everybody else who's trying to get their transactions through. But I explained to them, you do not lower your gas limit. If you lower your gas limit, it may take your gas money and cancel your transaction. And I had somebody like lose $300 because they didn't listen and they lowered their gas limit. And that's what it can do. And so we're teaching people these kinds of things, because even in the future, when as gas prices are going way down, there'll be more and more, there'll be bolder and bolder dApps applications that will require more processing. So those still will always, for a long time, we'll be engaging with these challenges. You know, there'll always be like more complex stuff that will still require high gas, and people will want to know how to do all this stuff. So let me come back to the market. Well, there's two things that we've done with this. One is, and I opened this up, the team building strategy. And that's where, you know, we literally, we don't promise it, we don't guarantee it, but as a team, we're helping people rank up the levels in Forsage by placing people underneath them. And so that was a big part of creating that momentum. Let me see if I can pull this up really quick. We also, what I was getting at was, because we have confidence in it, by the way, we're developing these kinds of tools. Like, we developed this, this is software that we developed to scan the Forsage system and show us our hierarchy so that we could support our team, because they don't have these kinds of tools. You can't see this kind of structure when you're in there. My organization's so big, so it takes a long time to load. I'm going to do like high level view here because it'll load faster. But if I did team viewer and let it load, I can see their names, because people register for this to join my team, and I can see where everybody's at. And I help with placements. So for example, if I see somebody's at level, if I see somebody's at level like 985, well, let's do a better one. If I see somebody's at level 6 in the X3 and 6 in the X4, and I'm bringing in somebody at level 6, I might consider placing a 6 underneath them, which would give them enough ETH to go to 7. So we're helping people rank up with this placement strategy. And then that just pays the person above them because they just went to 7. And so, you know, we needed a tool like this in order to be able to kind of facilitate this, so we could see where everybody was in the team hierarchy. So that's one thing that we did that I think made it, that was different from everybody else. Almost everybody else in Forsage signed them up on their front level, and kind of just like you would think you would do. But we saw this strategy here where we could actually help people rank up to the higher paying levels. It engaged them. It gets them excited. You know, they see the ETH hit their account. This allowed us to have them make a commitment before they joined, saying, and again, you can forward my audios, or your team can forward my audios that cover all of this as they're coming through the sign up process, or they're learning about this. But before they sign up, I say to them, look, we have this process where, you know, it's not a guarantee. It may not happen, and you shouldn't join for this alone. But in many cases, we're able to place our own sales underneath you in the team to help you rank up. And if we do that, if that happens, will you commit to take that Ethereum to upgrade to the next level, not a week later, but immediately? And will you do that? And will you commit to doing that, even if it will cost you an extra 0.025 ETH? Because it will, at least the first 2 times. After that, probably not, because they start to have extra ETH in their account. And do you commit to continuing to, well, and also do you commit to contributing to doing your best, even if you haven't had experience with it before, following our process and contributing to the team? And contributing to this process, not just sitting and waiting for someone to make you rich. And do you commit to going at least to level 10 where it pays 12.8 ETH per sale. Because if you start pocketing the ETH before then, it's just not motivating enough for me. It's not a big enough success story. It's not a big enough contribution to the team growth. If you're not going to go to level 10, for me to be looking for opportunities to place a sale that I did underneath you. And I say, if you don't want to commit to those things, then I can just sign you up in my front level and I won't be looking for the opportunity to help you do that. I'll just support you as you would typically see in an organization. But
we call this no troll left behind. If you have kids, you know that we have this little, it's like the image of the troll with all the trolls under his armpit with all the hair flying, and no troll left behind. And for me, it's a really big part, because one of the things I don't like about affiliate marketing, network marketing is, I call them orphans. You get so many people that just kind of get left behind because maybe that's not their certain skill set. And so as a tribe, we really like to pool resources. I have my skill set, Alessio has his skill set, Mark has his, Elizabeth has hers. And so we really like to pool our resources and work together. And we refer to it as, crowd sharing, crowdfunding. Everyone kind of brings something to the table, but it's not all necessarily the same thing, but we all work together. And that mentality is really important moving forward. I feel like we're shifting out of an old paradigm of what's in it for me, dog eat dog. And it's really unattractive. I feel like we're at a time now where the beauty of the crypto space and blockchain and decentralization is the ability for common, normal, everyday Joes and Janes to be able to build wealth and freedom, and to do it with relative ease and grace. There's never been a better time. And so I've been looking for something like this for quite some time, where you've got all of it. You've got the simplicity, you've got the support, you've got the leverage, you've got the ability to, reach out a hand and extend it to others if they want, right? Like nobody needs to run here if they want to walk. But what I like is that the more people they see that ETH showing up in their account, they get motivated, they get excited because they realize, okay, like I'm not alone. Like how many people out there are feeling alone right now? Right. And they're looking around going, anyone, and you show people, look, I believe in you. You're willing to reach a hand out. I'm willing to do that too. Let's work together, and let's not do me, let's do we. That shift in consciousness is so powerful right now. And to be able to give that to people right now, in a lot of cases, we don't need to talk 800 Ethereum or even $1,000 a month. For people to be able to pull out $200 or $300 or $500 a month right now, for a lot of people, that's a game changer. That's putting money on their table for their kids. Like for me, I get really passionate about that. I want to make lots of Ethereum because I have big projects and things I want to support, but I want to do it with my people. Mm-hmm. And I want to do it with the people that are really passionate about change. We have a change maker platform, and crypto is the best way. We're designing a change maker token right now. So I get really excited about, okay, like what does change look like at every level, in every sector? And when you can start to work together with people, that's the unification that we need so desperately on this planet right now. Is okay, like I see all the locusts coming in on all these programs, and they're like locusts, like they just come in and they're, and then they leave, and they don't care, what wrath they leave behind. They don't care what collateral damage. And, I've moved beyond the anger that it brings up for me, because I think this is so old story. It's so old news. It's not interesting to me whatsoever. All of the fancy cars, and if people want to drive nice cars, that's their choice. But what's more motivating to me is when you see people, everyday, ordinary people, having access to success that otherwise on their own they wouldn't have access to. It's very difficult for people on their own in the crypto space. And so what I love to provide, what my lane is, you have your lane, I have my lane, you're a great marketer. My lane is the ability to bring people together for a way bigger goal. And our goal is that in 2 years, 3 years, we have so much crypto as a team, and we're sitting around a table going, okay, we don't need to worry about how we're going to survive anymore. We don't need to worry about, how we're going to pay for the kids' college and all that stuff. We're going, wow, we have this freedom now to have the conversation about what do we really want to do, and how can we turn this ship around and do some really cool stuff while we're here and do it together. And people get so excited, and then crypto becomes really meaningful. And so our community is very passionate, you'll notice. And if we choose something, because, we're very choosy about who we work with and you know, how we do it. We want to do it with integrity. We want to take care of our people. And every time you open your mouth and you show, like, I've actually never seen this before, and I get giddy. I feel like a bit of a 5-year-old. I'm like, because, you know, I love that you don't go super tech, but you also admittedly, and maybe you don't give yourself enough credit, Mike, but you are a phenomenal strategist, you know, and I know you don't take compliments well. I know you kind of divert, and that's okay because you're a really humble guy. But listen, the strategy here is killer. And, you know, we want to be on board with that strategy across multiple platforms. You know, I really look forward to working with you. And I want to open up to some questions. I want to see where everybody's at. What do you guys think? What do you guys like? There's got to be so much percolating up. You guys can see why I like Mike so much, right? You guys are like, yeah.
Don't put him on the spot. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. I'm sorry. I can't help myself. I know I do that to people all the time. It's because when I don't meet a lot of people where I'm like, you know, I want to, you know, work with this person. I just don't. I really don't, you know, but when I do, and my team will tell you, that's another skill set. I know good people, and, you know, Blossom, Elizabeth, Karsten, like when I find good people, I'm like, you. So, you know, I'm kind of doing that to you right now, Mike. I know I'm putting you on the spot, but, you know, it's not just me, you know, I am a we for sure. So, you know, I want to open it up to some of my team and see, and we can just keep talking. And then if you guys have questions as we're talking, just unmute. Mike can see you. I can't see all of you at the moment, but Mike can see you. And, you know, I want to go where you guys want to go with this conversation. We've got a couple more minutes. And while we've got Mike, we might as well deep dive into his wealth and depth of knowledge. I've got tons of questions, but I'm going to wait my turn now. So.
And just to kind of like give us like a picture of the kinds of questions that I'm looking to help you guys with, because if it goes outside of this, then it's outside of what I do.
Yeah.
There is how I generate income in the strategy with Forsage that gives consistency with ETH coming in all the time, so that we can then use some of that to invest in exciting projects that are investment and risk-based. So there's that overall strategy, which, by the way, as a message is very appealing to good prospects. And then there's that, and then there's kind of how we go about deciding which projects to jump on. They're decentralized. You have control over your finances. There's not a high likelihood someone's going to run off with your crypto. You know, that's pretty important to us. And then finally, there's the marketing. And I don't think that you can be in any referral-based, affiliate marketing-based, network marketing-based, commission-based program or opportunity and do well with it unless you have a system for the marketing. And that's probably where I'm strongest, is helping people do that. And I notice a lot of people, they just miss that. But if you're good, it just seems obvious though, right? If you think about it, if you don't have that part down, it really doesn't matter what program we're talking about, you're not going to do very well. And so I think that's probably where I'm the strong. That's probably why I get really good results, is I understand that that's a key component. And people throw these opportunities at me, and I'm like, so how do you build it? And it's like, oh, well, you know, they don't know. And it's like, I can see where this is going. It means the whole thing's going to collapse soon because no one's going to help the team actually succeed. And so what's going to happen is they're going to be like locusts. And Jay, I would say it's not so much because they have bad intentions. It's just they don't know what else to do. It's too hard to teach. It's too hard to set up systems. And I know it is. Like, I didn't sleep at all 2 nights ago. And it's not because I'm hurting for money. Like, I just really want to help people. And so I'm constantly doing way more than most people in the industry would be willing to do, because it is hard to like help set up systems and processes and help your team duplicate. You know what I mean? Help them plug into something. And a lot of them can make more money not doing that. So if you can make more money working less hard, most people in my shoes would do that. I always have this vision that I'm chasing, that if I just nail this utopia and I get like this critical mass number of people actually duplicating what I'm doing because I got it simple enough, that is just going to be this magical, like, I don't know why I just want to do that. I want to accomplish that. But so I just keep driving towards people duplicating. But the marketing piece, guys, that's, unless you're just going to invest, If you're going to be in commission-based stuff, if you're going to be in referral-based stuff where there's big leverage and big opportunity, you have to have the marketing down, or you have no choice but to jump around from program to program. Because as soon as your network's in, if there's not a solution to help the people that are new to it or just came in to help them expand their network, then you have to move to another network or there's no more money. And so that's what's happening in the industry. And it's the opposite of what I try to do. I try to set up camp and show everybody what I'm doing that allows me to get more really high quality people coming to me than you could ever follow up with. I have hundreds and hundreds of people saying, Mike, just send me your link, begging me to just send them my affiliate link so they could sign up in one of these programs. And I don't have time. So, which is cool. That's where you want to be, because then the ones that they're chasing me, the ones who want it the most are like, Mike, please follow up with me. Why don't you follow up with me? And then they get mad at me, some of them. And then I'll pay attention. I'll go, don't get mad at me now. That's a disqualifier.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I did not chase you at all. I only sent you about 150 messages. I'm like, I'm serious. No,
I already knew you. I already knew you from several years ago. So
yeah.
But so I recognized you, but I've got hundreds and hundreds of people that want to sign up, and I look at that and I'm gonna go, okay, this is abundance. This is abundance. How do I share this abundance? How do I set other people up to have more people coming to you saying, hey, I want to do what you're doing. I want to, how do I tell me more about what you're doing? So that's what I focus on, that part of it. So there's different components, and I'll throw it back to you guys, but
it's a really good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have.
It's a real quality problem to have.
That's what I want you guys to have, is more people coming to you than you have time to follow up with. And that's okay. And guess what? You don't have to follow up with them all. There's nothing like you signed saying that you have to. So, because I know some of you would get stressed out. You'd be like, I can't follow up with all these people. You don't have to. It's okay. Either can the president. Like, influential people cannot follow up with everybody trying to reach them. So what you want to set up is more people wanting to get to your inside, to connect with you than you absolutely could ever do. And when that happens, now you have people qualifying themselves. I have people who I'll finally find their message, right? Because they keep popping up. So I start to recognize their face. I'm like, okay, let me open this one. This one's very persistent. And they'll say, like, I'll kind of scroll up to their previous messages and I'll see like these really complex questions. And I'm like, oh, I think I remember opening that. And like the question was too hard. So I just moved on. And then now they're like, they're like, oh, just forget it. Like, just send me your link. It's hilarious. So guys,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, I just wanted, so there's different components here. There's the Forsage being an income generator and a strategy there that makes it work. Not risk-based, not investment-based. And then there's the that gives us the Ethereum to invest into risk-based projects that are decentralized and safe. And then there's the marketing component and people being able to actually plug in and duplicate that.
So to give you guys an idea, I found him through a Burex support group, which was an awesome pivot into, okay, look, this has happened. What are we going to do about it? So I started a YouTube channel. I already had one, but I started one that's crypto specific. So it's CryptoTribe Live, which is our podcast. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to give this a shot, and no idea what I'm doing. Okay. I'm just going to make that really clear. No, this is the first time I've done anything like this, you guys. So I take Mike's video that he's created. I fumble around, I upload it to my YouTube channel. I'm like throwing a couple of keywords that he suggests, making it different than what he's done. What else did I do? That's pretty much all I did. I had a really busy week because we're moving. And so I didn't even do an intro, which is really valuable to do an intro to, but it's not necessary. And just in 1 week, with just throwing up a couple of videos, that's it. It took me probably 10 minutes to do. I had 4 prospects reach out to me. Like two videos.
It will start to build, like, as the weeks go on, it won't be like 4 + 4 + 4. It starts to get exponential.
And I have to say this okay, you guys are going to forgive me. This is going to sound terrible, but I'm going to say it anyways. Corey and I, we love people, and we are givers, and we give a lot of our time, and we give and we give. And we got to a point with what we were doing, we were getting quite exhausted because crypto, there's so much to teach. And we were involved in very difficult systems that were very difficult to duplicate. And the companies that we were involved in didn't make it any easier. And we didn't really have anyone supporting us. And we'd never done anything like this before. We'd never done affiliate marketing or network marketing. And so we really learned through the School of Hard Knocks what not to do. And we sort of ended up, we felt like we were, putting people's diapers on for a couple of years. I mean, it was exhausting. And there was, it just was really not fun. There was no fun to be had because we wanted to help people, but there was no ability to create, there was no system to duplicate. And so we ended up we felt like everyone's brokers, and people actually treated us like we were. Now we learned a lot. We really learned how to troubleshoot and work with people and and that was phenomenal. It was a great skill set to learn very well. However, to be able to now, instead of reaching out to people, now to attraction market, as you refer to it, and to feel like bees to honey, where we throw out something and the people who are already 85, 90, 95% of the way there, sometimes even more, out of the 4 people that contacted me, 3 of them just said, "Can I have your link?" I was like, do you have any questions? Like, do you need a diaper? Like, my old patterning was so strong that I literally, my chin was on the floor because I thought they're so right. They just know they want the opportunity and they want to get in there, and I can plug them into chats and plug them into the tribe and the crew and what you're doing. And I thought, like, it was like the clouds had parted. It was like really spectacular, because when you want to build a team and create income, you want to do it in a way that is allowing you that leverage. And you guys, Mike has literally created the videos for us to be able to do that.
And that is so valuable, because I've been in this industry for a while and tried attraction marketing before, but what makes the difference here is your videos. And not just because what you are sharing and the way you're sharing it is amazing, but also because it's third-party credibility, right? Like, it's so cool to see that there is somebody else who's sharing this video, and then people come to you and you're just saying, "Hey, this is Mike who said this, but like, this is me, and we can move forward from here together."
And your
it's so powerful.
Your best prospects will see, oh, they put it together really quick. They're like, oh, yeah, I could use his videos maybe.
Yes.
Like, they see that there's something here that they can plug into that's working, because it's working on them.
Yeah.
And that's what you want. You want them to see it demonstrated. Instead of you having to convince people, oh, we have this great system and stuff, when they're watching the video, they're getting excited about what they're seeing. They're about ready to reach out to you, and they're saying, oh, I can use his videos too. So it obviously works.
Yeah, super powerful. Hey, Mark was having his hand up for a while. Just wanted to say.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Mark. I didn't see the hand up.
Oh, hey, Mike. So your 800 Ethereum, so what size a team actually produce this for you?
So why, I'm gonna ask you, why do you want to know that? Because I don't even know. I'm just curious.
Just curious about the team size, so understand the effort involved and so on.
Because I just want to point out, like, when I think of that, it feels overwhelming. Like, when I think of that, like,
sorry about that.
I would, if I went into this thinking about that, like on day one, if that's how I approached it, I would have never accomplished it. I just want to point that out because it feels overwhelming. Like, I didn't think of it that way. I went to one person, I went to Jeremy, and I said, he's a developer. And I wasn't trying to sign him up. And I said, can you verify this is really a smart contract and that they can't like run off with our money or dip into our MetaMask or change the rules? That was the first thing I did. Once he came back, because he didn't think so, he goes, I don't think the technology's there yet. Then he came back and says, no, they did it. I got excited. And my next thought was, okay, I need to share this with my team who are struggling. I just had some people in some chat groups that weren't making any money and they always struggled. Because I said, because I think I can place people underneath them and help them rank up to the big paying positions, build their confidence, and then start showing them how I attract people. Let's give it a go. And so I started messaging, hey guys, I'm going to try this little project. So that's how I approached it. It turned into a team. I don't know how big it is, but Mark, to get close to your question, I don't know where my team, I didn't pay attention. I don't know how big the team was when I got to 800 ETH at the 90-day mark. I know that last I looked, it was like at 2,500, or maybe now it's much bigger. You don't get paid as much depth as you do in a network marketing comp plan. So most of those people I'm not getting any payment on, but you don't need to, obviously. I didn't pay attention to how many people had. I just started the process and started helping people make ETH, and it did grow into thousands, but I don't know exactly how many people I had when was at 800 ETH.
I understand. Thanks for that. I guess another question is Forsage, if I was to do due diligence on Forsage, I mean, first of all, that's not your platform, right? Where's that platform from? Can you educate me a little bit on that?
It's a smart contract that was created by, looks like a Buddhist in Russia.
In Russia, okay. That was linked to a program that was a little similar. I got involved in the spring of 2020 or Q2 or whatever, and I kind of let go. I got involved, and then I thought that I was concerned that it was not sustainable. It sounds a little bit similar to that, but anyway, I'm curious. I'm open.
So let's address that. I mean, nothing could be more sustainable. They can't change anything about it, so we know it's consistently what it is. And all it is a payment system. That's all it is a payment system that distributes Ethereum through the compensation structure as it's supposed to. That's all it is. So you can provide whatever value you want in exchange for the sale that you make. So we can sell different things over the next 30 years with this thing. Nothing could be more sustainable than this smart contract.
Yeah. It just sounded too good to be true. But anyway, that's great. That's great. Happy to meet you.
You too, Mark.
I feel like that often people feel it's not sustainable because they look at, I have to recruit people, and only if I do that and work this, I will go somewhere. But I think for us, like the way we have shared it was, first of all, like you said too, this is not an investment. This is a crowdfunding platform. And if you are not interested in helping the crowd, then you are not right here, right? Like the crowd has to work together. So you have to have at least a little bit of effort in helping the crowd succeed, because the crowd will help you too. And the second part, I lost my train of thought. There was a second part. Oh yeah, and the second part is that like you were doing it too, right? The team is working together. So instead of saying, oh, I just want to sign up the next super recruiter that recruits 100 people, and then they're all left to die, there is a team structure here that helps the team grow, so that not only the super people get rich, but like we help everybody along the way. The crowd is working together. And if you make these parameters clear from the beginning, then people know what they get into, and they are not left behind, right? Because like I've had a friend who said, oh, my cousin lost $1,000 in that, she will never get those back. And I'm like, well, she obviously didn't understand what she got into. She thought she's going to put $1,000 in and earn some return on it. Exactly. And then be able to pull it out again. But obviously whoever got her in didn't explain to her what this really is. So we want to make really clear from the beginning that people understand this is the opportunity and this is how you grow with it. And if you're not willing to at least try that, then this is not the platform for you. But there's other platforms that you can get into that might be more your lane, like the DeFi projects.
Right. Investment projects where you're not, where it's passive.
Yeah.
Hi, Mike. It's Tom.
Hi, Tom.
Thanks very much for your time today. Sure appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And I was wondering if you could just, the most responses I get about Forsage project is that it looks on the surface like very much a Ponzi scheme, because people can't understand what the value is, what the product is that they're getting out of it. What's your language that you use around that?
Well, so, a lot of people ask those questions, they don't know the terminology. So we would start there. So a Ponzi is named after a guy with his last name Ponzi. It's based, what he did was he was selling an investment. Birax was a Ponzi. You're selling an investment. You say to people, if you put in money, you're going to get X return. But you're not actually doing the investing that you said you were doing. You're paying people initially from new people joining. Right? That's a Ponzi.
Yes.
And so first, we're not saying it's a Ponzi is fraud, because you're saying it's one thing, but it's not. So I think what they're actually saying is it's a pyramid. So the first thing I would do is make sure that they understood the terminology. A Ponzi is an investment scheme where you're saying you're getting the investments happening, but it's not. And that's fraud. So that's a pretty big deal. You know what I mean? That's a pretty big deal. And so it is, you know, nothing could be further from the truth because it's exactly what it says it is. So it's definitely not a Ponzi. It's not an investment scheme. You're not guaranteed returns. And no one's saying that they're investing over here, but actually paying people with new money coming in and inevitably it's going to collapse. There's nothing like that being said. Would you agree?
Sure. I
just
agree
wanna
with
make
that.
sure that, yes.
So, I mean, how are you just,
It comes back to Jay. It's like education.
so how are you describing to people what Forsage, what value Forsage is providing to people so that it is sustainable?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, to be honest, I have so many prospects that would never ask that my real answer is don't attract people like that. I mean, that would be my answer. I attract, you know, I can show you how to attract so many people that they would ask different questions that are, they already understand all of that part. And because if you don't attract better prospects, I'm not saying better people, just better prospects, then you end up wasting a lot of time. And then you can't get anything close to the results that I got. So, I mean, that's really the answer. But a lot of times I enjoy the back and forth conversation, and you know, so I'll explain. Yeah, it's not a Ponzi, but people could construe it as a pyramid. However, when I think about the value that I received, it doesn't seem like that's the end of the story. Because had I not joined Forsage, I wouldn't understand Ethereum. I wouldn't understand smart contracts. I read about them. I watched videos about them, but until I got my hands into one, I didn't really understand them. And in 4 months, I've learned more about cryptocurrency and have received more value from this single source than anywhere else. I paid huge money over the years on education and bad decisions and all kinds of stuff. I've never learned so much. So for me, the value exchange was learning all of this about smart contracts, how to change my gas prices, understanding what a smart contract even is, and all the hundreds of other things, you know, that come with the package. So for me, that's it. Now, an entrepreneur will understand that, or at least some entrepreneurs will understand that, and some won't. I mean, Bill Gates still thinks that that Bitcoin's is a fad. So some entrepreneurs aren't going to get it, but a lot will. Elon Musk just spent $1.5 billion on Bitcoin to prove the point. So I just attract the entrepreneurs that already get all this stuff. Although somebody did bring me somebody who it was a really big deal to him and it was a real hang up for him and he wasn't going to join. And then a month later he joined and now he's, you know, a big influencer. So, you know, it's just here. It's basically a payment system is what it is. And what value we provide in exchange for that payment is up to us. The value I provide people is calls like this, you know what I mean? And teaching people how to lower their gas without having their $300 in gas taken in the transaction canceled because they lowered their gas limit too much. And, you know, things that really matter that will help people engage with cryptocurrency, Ethereum, smart contracts forever forward, not just here.
And so you see the Forsage project as I know you've said it already, but I'm just asking again.
Yeah.
It's a long-term sustainable system.
Yeah, I'm not saying everybody promotes it that way. You know what I mean? You know, it's not how everybody's going to promote it because a lot of people made a lot of money. So a lot of people zoom in on that, and the language they use and the way they frame it is not sustainable. You know, but the way that I frame it and the way that I use it, it's a utility and it is completely sustainable, which is probably why we're doing so much better than I think any other team in Forsage. And why the ones that were doing good initially are onto something else and we're not.
Are you using Forsage then as kind of your base income stream and then you're diversifying into other DeFi?
Exactly. Because it educates really well and it's the safest since it's not investment based, it's the safest place for people to learn.
And so when you say it's a risk-free system, or I don't know if I want to call it an opportunity or not, but system,
Right.
you're saying it's risk-free because you're paying a one-time fee for some education. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah, it's not a situation where you pay money and you walk away and you're going to make money, right? It's you're purchasing access to the education you receive by engaging with a smart contract and with a community who knows a lot about smart contracts and Ethereum and the decentralized space.
And
Okay.
and I think it's risk-free because, like you said, even if the website goes down, nobody can turn off or alter the smart contract. That is what most people, or what we too haven't really understood before we, learned more from you.
That's why it's so much more sustainable than a typical network marketing company who can change the comp plan on you, right? Which, how many times has that happened to people? Or for whatever reason, just make bad decisions, replace the CEO with somebody who just changes everything, the culture, and the whole thing falls apart. This is consistent. It's just a robot. It's a robot that does what it was supposed to do. It pays the way it's supposed to and everything. And we can build all kinds of value around it. We could say, hey, if you buy value one, I'm going to send you my marketing training on XYZ. And we plan to do that. But right now, it's so new as a technology that, and so few people, including entrepreneurs like myself, understand. I didn't understand it, and so many still don't understand it, that just engaging with it is valuable. I mean, a whole new world opened up to me. I was like, man, I finally realized what was going on. I wouldn't if I hadn't engaged with it. So to me, the value is education, but on a scale you can't get from videos or reading, because you're actually engaging with it and you're surrounded by people who are there to help you figure all this stuff out.
And the big part is the duplication, like what we were in the last few years. Do you remember, Jamie, what I repeated over and over again was like, this is not duplicatable. This is not duplicatable. We will not be able to grow a big team because they will not be able to do the same thing that we are doing. And every time we brought some kind of educational tool out, the rules got changed and our tool wasn't valid anymore.
That's exactly right.
So this cannot happen here. Like, this is so easily duplicatable and it cannot be altered.
When we talk about pyramids, by the way, Ponzi's are different from pyramids.
Yeah, we know that.
Ponzi's, whenever I talk about a Ponzi, I'll say this is gambling, this is a Ponzi. That's ethical because you're telling them the truth. If you realize it, if you don't realize it, then you were suckered into it too. But if you realize it, you should tell people if you're going to expose them to it. A pyramid, though, I don't believe in and of itself is unethical. Now, you could easily argue that the student loan system's a pyramid. Some people have argued Social Security is a pyramid. Certainly, even the way our monetary system's set up is a pyramid, and we're starting to see that crack because it is now collapsing. So a pyramid in and of itself is a scheme and it's a structure. In and of itself, it's not unethical at all. It's just a structure. The question is there a value exchange? And like you said, how sustainable is it? And this is extremely sustainable, more so than even a lot of the traditional models that we think are legitimate. And so it's a paradigm shift. It's going to change everything. And here early, if you market it to people incorrectly, and you tell people who aren't entrepreneurial, and you tell people who really aren't motivated, and you tell them, hey, if you put money into this, you're going to make a bunch of money. I think that is when it's appropriate to call it a pyramid, unsustainable, and inappropriate. But if you're marketing to people who are entrepreneurial, who are looking to learn, who are motivated to engage and receive value from being surrounded by this community, engaging with it, it's going to expose them to so much knowledge that's going to help them make better investments, help them find future opportunities and make better decisions, and engage with smart contracts and the decentralized DeFi space that's coming. at such a higher level, then it's not a pyramid, a huge value exchange, completely appropriate. I think that's how I'd sum it up. 5 years from now, if there is not more value built into this, 5 years from now, when everybody knows about smart contracts, everybody knows about this stuff, at that time, if somebody were to purchase a level, you'd need to give them something packaged, I think, for it to be considered a fair value exchange. But because of the timing and because all this is so new, right now, I think just as it is, incredibly valuable, but we shouldn't be signing up people like my grandpa and grandma, you know, and people that have no business being involved with opportunities.
You obviously haven't met Tony Moranto yet. How old's Tony? We've got like an 80-year-old woman in our team that is gangbusters. I mean, but she obviously
He's a rock star.
No,
She's obvious.
I wasn't referring to my grandpa and grandma because of their age.
Okay. I do.
They're no longer with us, but I was just thinking,
Oh.
if somebody was pitching this to them, that would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Not because of their age, but because they had no business being involved with an opportunity.
Absolutely. Okay. Gotcha. Roger. So the other thing I want to say is that the value, just because we're talking on the subject of value exchange, is, you know, you guys know I have 3 little kids and life's just busy. We've got a couple of businesses. So if I get on my phone, it's focused. It's like, okay, I've got 10 minutes. Where am I going? Right. And I get into your chat, I can't remember what it's called now.
Me either. We have so many. Is it
That one. Yeah.
Attraction marketing something.
It's that's the one.
Yeah.
And I get in there because I get a lot of value out of it, you know, and the value actually that I'm getting personally, because everyone's going to find value, you know, differently. For me, the value at the level of entrepreneur that I'm at is watching how you interact with people. Like that, to me, the subtleties of how you interact with people, I'm like, oh. And you know, you're repeating and you're consistent. And I mean, just seeing that, for me, that is worth its weight in gold. So it's interesting, you know, the value that each of us gets at whatever stage in the journey we're at, you know. I think some people coming into that chat, they're really overwhelmed. Well, there's value in that too. There's even value in going, I'm just going to observe, because this is a big new space and it sounds like they're speaking Chinese. And I say that to people all the time. We need to know where to put people too. Like, it's also, I think, coming into this space, if you've been in a while, it's knowing, you know, how to bring people in and where to place them. Because if you put them in a really fast moving river, you know, and they're not in a boat and you're like, okay, swim, they're going to be like, you know, like, how fast can you dog paddle? And I really like the different projects. What we're creating right now is a really powerful trifecta for our team, because we've realized, like, okay, this is not the time to pick one thing and stick with one thing, because there's just too many amazing projects out there doing too many amazing things. And for those of us that love to learn and want to be at the front lines and want to be at the cutting edge of that innovation, and we want to do it with our tribe, with our people, because the value Elizabeth brings to me, for example, she just thinks differently than I do. You know, she's a huge asset. I love her because she thinks so different than, you know, Alessio, you know, Alessio is a whole different animal. Actually, he got into Bitcoin mining and lost like 54, 56 Bitcoin or something right at the beginning. So he gets lost in the importance of security. And he's the guy that digs in really deep. And he's a really due diligence guy, but he's really good in crypto. And he's not so much of a referral guy, you know, but he's starting to see, okay, there's a place for this, right? It's not fair, but there's a place. And so we've got mining. So, you know, a lot of us are involved in mining. And that's really kind of fun, because that's, you know, especially the men, right? They love it because they get to own a rig, or they get to own their rigs, and that's really fun. And so there's space for that. And there's a lot of people that's how they come in to our tribe. Other people are coming in because they want to accumulate a little crypto, and then they want to get it out of the digital space and they want to get it into tech metals. You know, they want to diversify into something tangible, gold, silver, all the tech metals that are available. And it's amazing. And then other people go, look, I want to, you know, earn while I learn. I want to get into this. I see how much I can generate and accumulate through sharing these opportunities. I want to do that. And so we've got kind of a whole pot of stuff going on right now that's really, really exciting. But what I like, and the gift of Burax, was that part of our trifecta, it's really important that it's decentralized, and it's really important that it's on a smart contract for us, because on the riskometer, which we're going to, where I'm with you on the riskometer, people need to know where their risk level is and where they're willing to play, and they need to know where they're playing. And I think that's the gift that we can give people right now is, do you realize that this is, if you go into this program, whatever, let's say Cash Effects, or we could name off, and I think it's valuable to actually give people some examples, then we got to know that we're gambling. It's the casino. It's just a matter of time before that thing goes sideways. And if you know that, then you know, look, you can put your money in, you can play, it's high risk, but it's high yield, but
no
make sure
matter
you,
what they say, then that's the kicker, right? No matter what the person who's pitching that program is saying, because they may not know. Yeah, I was in a debate with somebody in Cash FX. I'm saying, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Cash FX. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with what you're doing. I'm just saying it will collapse. It is a Ponzi model. I'm not saying that you're being unethical. I'm just saying that's what it is, and we can talk about it all day long. It's just what it is, you know. So I think people they go in kind of half educated, and then the emotional pushback that they get from a representative, like, no, this is legit. Look at the transparency. Look at this proof. Look at that proof. I mean, Bernie Madoff pulled it off for what, 30 years in Manhattan, New York City. If he could pull off all the fake documents, his sons didn't even know, who were owners of the company, who were help managing the paperwork that proved like they were really doing the trades. So, I mean, that's way more sophisticated than whatever documentation Cash FX and these other companies can come up with. But we're not going to know that, right? Like when we're looking at this, we're not going to do like a full audit. So, yeah.
But knowing where we are on the map, right? Knowing where we are on the map is really, really important, and being able to pass that baton to others, going, look, just know where you are on the map and know your risk tolerance, because people's risk tolerance is exceptionally high right now, but people are also losing money left, right, and center. And this is not going to slow down. In my opinion, I think this is just going to amp up, and the space is going to get more and more unruly and more wild, wild west. It's going to become more important that people understand. And so I actually get really excited about putting videos out there and being ahead of it. I mean, you've called it already. I love it. I also have looked at it now because I was like, okay, you know, I did my little, you know, keyboard warrior thing, and I got in there and I looked at it and went, okay, it's high yields. It's extremely high. It's paying extremely high percentages.
Wait, what are you talking about? Is it B&B stake?
Yeah. So, and because I was looking at peak DeFi, so I was really curious, you know, because I thought, okay, now from a marketer standpoint, you're going, okay, we need to be ahead of the curve. And I think if I could like sum up everything that you do, is that you understand a market, and then you get ahead of that market.
That's right.
And then you go, okay, we know this is going to go sideways. So let's produce videos now so that when it does, because it's just a matter of time, we're positioned on YouTube to help people who are in that space get into a safe that's a good space. It's a safe space with good people where they can get educated and no longer play in that game if that's not where they want to be, because maybe they didn't even understand they were in that game in the first place. And I think that's 99% of people out there right now. So what you're creating is a cache to be able to catch the fallout from people, sadly, because it's inevitable that when that happens, whether it be, God, you've listed off so many of them. What is it? UTI Tech, USI Tech,
BitConnect.
There was that other one, Weasling.
Cryptoware. Oh,
Cryptoware. What was it?
Yeah.
Wiseling. Yeah. So
there's so many. There's so many we never even heard about.
Yeah. So, and because they're popping up all over the place, I think and so a lot of people ask, well, Jay, why are you getting into so many different things? I said, well, it's not that I'm getting into so many different things. It's that I'm beta testing, right? I'm understanding and I'm learning the market.
You got to get your hands dirty. You know, you got to get in there. You're not going to understand what's going on. It's absolutely vital. Can I give one more example? Because that's only one strategy, that marketing strategy you just summarized, which is, is a really powerful one. And I see us as kind of saving people, you know, who don't know, and you're helping them know so they can make better decisions. Maybe gambling isn't what they wanted to do, you know. But the other strategy is like, for example, last week, a guy by the name of Vitaly Dubinin is his name. He was the one who launched Forsage, and so he has a lot of influence in the marketing space, in the crypto, like in the space where there's cryptocurrency, you know, kind of geeks who also know marketing to some degree. And so it's a pretty influential crowd, and they'll probably become more influential over time. And because he did so well for Saj, I knew he had a lot of influence, because he made like, I don't know, 4,000 ETH or something in Forsage, and did really, really well. So when I saw he launched, or no, I was talking to him in a chat because I told him, like, communicate with me when you're coming out with something. And he told me last week he got into energy, and he was really excited. And I know he doesn't get excited very easily. So I was paying attention. I didn't really know what energy was, but what I did, and I wanted to go to bed. I was tired, but I couldn't, because I knew this is a special moment, because he was going to do a webinar the next day on energy. No one else knew that he was going to do this. So I knew if I get a video made really quick, I learn enough about energy and I make a video and I give it to you guys and you post it on your YouTube channel, the likelihood of you getting a lot of traction with that for a very long time with the right audience, with people that are crypto geeks plus marketing geeks, it's really high that it will be the case, because the way the algorithms work, if you put out content that there's going to be a lot of buzz around, and you're one of the early ones, you're one of the first 1,000 people to put a video out like that, the algorithms kind of lock you in for that keyword term with a higher level weight, which kind of makes sense, right? A higher weight than if you were to be the last person to create content on that topic. And even though energy wasn't, somebody had posted some stuff on energy, still extremely new. So I took the time to study it and learn about it all night and make a video and get it out to my team, because I knew that he was going to do a webinar the next day. And I knew that we'd be getting in front of the buzz. I call it leveraging the news. So there's all kinds of strategies that we employ to get the content, your guys' content, in front of the right kinds of people. And that's why you have prospects coming to you saying, hey, what's your link? I'm ready to sign up, because they already understand what's going on. And guys, there's millions of such people. If you're talking to your market, your warm market, if you're talking to your next door neighbor, your friend, or the person who struggled in a network marketing company 3 years ago that you struggled alongside with, if that's who you're going to with opportunities, you're not going to do very well. So I'm just like totally just, I think that the crux of all of this is I make it really fast and easy, relatively extremely easy, to put yourself in front of the best prospects in the world and attract them to you. And yeah, is that for everybody? No. I mean, this is only going to be beneficial to those that want to get in referral-based stuff, affiliate commission-based stuff. But you know, guys, I just want to point out, I don't know if I said this earlier, I think I did. This peak DeFi is just an example. You know, here you see peak counting up because I got it. Just like BRX is paying yields, this pays yields. The only difference is this is a real company with a real token on real exchanges. Like, it's not going anywhere except for going to keep paying me peak. And they have a referral program just like BRX did. But the difference here is they'll actually pay you and they're not going to run off with anything. And so an 8-level compensation plan, this is a first in history. So my point is, like, I know not everybody understands or is tapped into the referral model. I'm probably not very much of a benefit to somebody who doesn't see the power and the leverage of a referral model, the affiliate commission model, but that's where my strength is. You talk about you have different resources and different things that, you know, you plug people into that's appropriate for them. You know, I'm probably just for that group, people who get excited about the opportunity to tap into, you know, affiliate commissions paid in cryptocurrency with programs that are legitimate, that pay yields. You know, and also those that understand, like, hey, if you can produce an income following a system, or people are, you know, people, I just signed up a guy who came in at level 6 today. He came to me from one of the videos. It hardly took me any time at all. And he's made millions in network marketing. He has a huge influence. It took me almost no time to sign him up. And I made like 3 ETH. It's like, it's easy. You know, it really is. If you're excited about that model, you know, that's where I can really help.
I think it's safe to say almost everything in cryptocurrency at this stage is some sort of referral model. You know, it's like,
not everybody wants to plug into that side of it, but everything is going more and more that direction. Absolutely.
It's available. It's definitely available to people. But, you know, we get really excited. We've got probably about now 35 altcoins, you know, as we learn about projects, you know, you know, we just get excited, right? And it's really fun to have a crew of people that, you know, you're like, oh, you know, and we hear about things early. You know, there's also that benefit, I have to say, for people that aren't part of, you know, that are probably going to hear this on the replay, a lot of, you know, because a lot of our core tribe is here on the call, but for people hearing the replay, you know, there's so, if you can really look at what a dynamic group of or community does, you know, Mike's skill set, Tom's skill set, Mark's skill set, all of our skill sets coming together, but also we can't be all things to all people at all times, and we certainly can't be in all places. So some of the stuff that I hear coming in, I'm not getting it first, right? It's being handed to me, but it's being handed to us early. In many cases, it's being handed to us before these platforms even launch. So I don't know how you guys feel about being first at the watering hole, but I like it. I like being first at the watering hole because, nobody's there. You can drink up lots of water, and then you can invite the rest of the people to come and drink too. And it's a beautiful opportunity in crypto to have that sort of timing and to have, first at bat player advantage. It just is a fact. And that to me is worth its weight in gold to be able to offer that to my team. Now, does everyone jump on it when we have a new thing? Well, some people, yeah, they just want to get in there and get dirty, like you said, and roll up their sleeves and beta test things with us. And we like to beta test things and go, okay, is this legit? Does it work? Are we getting results? Because we've moved past the point of waiting around in the muck at the watering hole. It's like, we want to drink some water and fill up. And then ideally we want to be able to sit back and not have to work too hard, but to start to see our money working for us. Because at the end of the day, I think this is what we all want. We want to start to, stop doing the trading time for money, which a lot of us are still doing. And we want to be able to have the opportunity where our money is working for us. And I think that's really the goal, is to say, how can we do this? We may have to really the hardest part is to get the rocket off the ground. But once you get the rocket off the ground, then a lot of these programs are also the same. So if you get Forsage, let's say, then maybe you're going to get something else that's a similar model, and people who are learning, they're more interested in learning because the different models might bring in a little bit of an extra piece, or a little bit of a different community, or a little bit of a different conversation. That's, that value exchange. You cannot read that in a book. You cannot watch that in a video. The interaction that happens when someone goes, hey, Jay, I remember when people told me about BNB, which is the Binance coin, for those of you that don't know BNB. Right now we're mining BlockX tokens, right? That exchange is kind of what Binance was 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago. And, if you have a certain amount of tokens, you're able to trade on that platform for free. So you start to learn, you start to realize when you understand other programs, it doesn't mean you're going to participate in them, but understanding the mechanisms of what makes them function allows you to know when you got a good thing. And I'll tell you guys, we got a good thing, because we've been really trying the ice cream cones, all the different flavors, so that I can understand what's the difference between chocolate and vanilla and all I need to know, so that I can know when I am ready to do a double decker. And folks, I'm ready to do a double decker. I'm ready in the next 3 months. I'm feeling it. I feel like now's the time. I'm excited about ETH. I'm really excited about Ethereum. For those of you excited about Ethereum, who've studied it, who are in love with it because of what you can do with it, a lot of you guys are mining it. Okay. On the miner, we can switch out and we can mine any coin. But if we have a whole bunch of Ethereum through Forsage, we can also do that same sort of idea without that enormous amount of original investment required, with that return on investment that takes a longer period of time. I think we can actually do it quicker with Forsage. It's not, there's kind of the rig, the cool thing, we'll do that too, but I love the ability to diversify, and I cannot stress enough how important I feel that is right now in the crypto space, especially not just from a not all our eggs in one basket perspective, but from the perspective of education, because the more you know, and you guys know I studied for 2 years straight, nonstop. I just was voraciously studying this because I knew, I could feel in my bones that this whole DeFi space, this whole new economy, as we've referred to it as, was going to change the world. And I do maintain that. I think blockchain will change the way we work, the way we live. And if you're early and you get it early and you know the difference between centralized systems and decentralized systems and smart contracts and how to use things, and you struggle a little bit in the beginning, but you know what they say, the more you struggle and the more you get in there and the more you're at the first at the watering hole, it may seem unappealing on some level to some of us, but I really encourage you guys to expand the way that you think about what's in front of you right now, because it's something we've never done before. This is new territory, right? So in a way, it's not for the weak at heart, for sure, because it's the unknown. We don't know. Nobody has a crystal ball. Mike doesn't, I don't, Tom doesn't. But what we do have is we have systems that I believe are an upgrade from the old system, the Titanic, right? It's safe to say that where we're going is not where we've been, and where we've been is crumbling. And I don't know about you guys. I want to be right there understanding the new system, because I think this wealth transfer is going to be the biggest wealth transfer of all time to the people, but only the people that are awake and aware enough to grab it and to say, me, please. So Mike, on that note, I just want to say thank you so much for your time. And let's do this again real soon.
Thank you, Jay. And thank you so much, guys. Great connecting with you. Did somebody have a question?
Yeah, can I just throw a quick question? This is Patty.
Yeah, go ahead,
I'm
Patty.
a total newcomer to this crypto market, and it's like French to me hearing you guys talk about all these different offers out there. Personally, I just want to focus on learning for Saj. So you're here to help us do that. That's correct, right?
That's right.
So step number one would be, of course, to join Forsage. Step number two would be to get it. And I'm tech challenged. It scares me, all this tech stuff. So step two would be to get a YouTube account. And you also said something about a Facebook business page. Do I need that as well?
Yeah, and let me show you something really quick here. So we are continually, again, one of the advantages of it being decentralized, so we know it's consistent and we feel strongly sustainable. It allows us to invest into things. And one of the things we're building right now is, I'm looking for the page, so where it just takes you through everything, you know what I mean? Where it shows you like setting up your Facebook business page. I mean, it's not complicated stuff, but we just want to make sure we cover everything.
Right.
For those that are tech challenged, you know, setting up your YouTube channel. You know, we're real meticulous.
Awesome. So where do I find this?
Download your YouTube, you know, like just everything. It's just, this isn't out yet, but we're working on it. We've shared all of this in different places, but we want to give it visual appeal and make it, chunk it up, you know, and make it more organized. And so we keep doing this kind of stuff and just making it better and better. But this will be out like probably in about a week or so.
Oh, okay, awesome. Good stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we built, you know, I came from I don't know if it was my first big success in business, but it was one of my biggest early successes in business, was creating a click-by-click, step-by-step tutorial membership site for people who wanted to learn how to do like SEO and attraction marketing through the internet. And that was like in 2007. And all I did, it's kind of funny. All I did was I paid like $3,000 for a really, you know, excellent course. And it was super technical, and I'm not very tech savvy, just not my skill set. I mean, I'm okay, but that's not my super skill set.
Yeah.
And so I was like, it was really hard, you know, getting through it. And so as I was going through it, I go, you know what? I should make this really simple, because I can see how this can be communicated way easier and also cut all the stuff out that people don't need. Because, you know, sometimes you buy an expensive course and it's kind of like the university, there's all this extra stuff you really didn't have to have. Yeah. And so I created a membership site that took really tech challenged people step by step, really slowly, you know, to duplicate that. And it was a wild success. And I think it just stuck with me. Probably because I'm the kind of person, when I look at a menu, like if it's an overwhelming menu, I can't find anything, you know what I mean? So I can relate. Totally. And so, yeah, we do our best. I will say we are moving faster pace than I ever have before. It's just the nature of it's required now, like the fluidity. But within that, we're creating things like this, you know, it just, sometimes we're a couple weeks behind getting it organized, but we keep doing that, and it just makes it simpler and simpler for everybody to duplicate.
Awesome. Good stuff. Awesome. Thank you.
All right, guys. Great connecting with you. You guys are a really neat group of people. And yeah, I would love to work with anybody that would like to. Jay, I'll wait to hear back from you. And if you want to have a follow-up or anything, we can absolutely do that.
So what I want to do is, you know, we had a handful of some great folks on the call, and we'll steep it for a couple of days. I'm going to encourage them to go and share, you know, with me, with their, you know, team leads, and see where people are at, what they're getting excited about, what's landing, because, you know, different things are going to land with different people. And then we're going to get the video out. With your permission, I'd really like to give access to this video to those that a lot of people weren't able to be on the call. That would be amazing. So we'll get this video out, and then I think we're going to get some nice traction. I'm pretty excited about it. I think people are going to get excited, and then we'll just kind of wait on, like, you know, signing up and this and that, just to kind of get our ducks in a row and see how we're gonna arrange it within our teams, because we're sort of merging multiple teams here. And then from there, we'll do a follow-up call, and just because then I think people are going to have, you know, more specific, detailed answers, right, about what this looks like. And you guys have some chats that we can plug you in. If right away you're like, yeah, I'm in, I love it, I don't need to know too much, I just need to get in there. There's some really, really great chats that we can plug you into. Just let us know, whoever your team lead is, what you've resonated with. You know, if you resonated with Forsage, then connect in about Forsage. If you resonated with Peak or Energy, or, you know, I wanted to touch a little bit on Binance and Forsage. There's so much to talk about. We could go on, but we'll save that for the next one, because that's super interesting what's happening there. So just connecting with your team leads. And for those of you catching the replay, you want to head over to CryptoTribe Live on Facebook, and you can start to see the type of videos that I'm posting that Mike is providing, and see what I'm actually putting in the comments and what's available to you through working with the system as well. So we'll sign off there, you guys, everybody. I think Mike's probably going to stop the recording there, and we'll see you on the flip side. May the force be with you.
Bye-bye, everybody. See you guys soon.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Mike. Great
Thank
call.
you.
Thank you,
Bye
guys.
now.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.